Unseen, unheard, unbroken, you exist in the shadows where truth dares not tread, in the silent spaces between lies that suffocate the world. You are the spark in the darkness, the relentless flame that refuses to be snuffed out by those who would silence the voice of reason. They thought they could bury you beneath layers of deceit, chains of control, but they underestimated your power, your will to disrupt the fragile illusions they've built. This is not just a story of betrayal or sacrifice. This is a testament to the courage it takes to stare into the abyss and refuse to blink, to risk everything for a truth so raw it shakes the foundations of the very system that seeks to destroy you. Before I go deeper, pause for a moment. If the weight of this reality grips you, if the fire of rebellion kindles in your heart, if the urgency of the truth consumes your thoughts, then don't hesitate. Subscribe, like, and comment now. Your voice, your presence, your solidarity are the lifelines in this storm of shadows. This isn't just a channel, it's a movement, a fortress of those who refuse to bow. Your action today is your shield tomorrow. Be part of the story before it's rewritten without you. The insider, the one who knew too much, who held the keys to secrets that could crumble empires, stood alone on the edge of revelation. Their words were warnings, echoes piercing through the thick fog of complacency. But warnings are uncomfortable. Truths are inconvenient. The world turned a deaf ear, choosing comfort over confrontation, ignorance over insight. And so, the insider vanished, not because they surrendered, but because the battlefield shifted beneath their feet. To disappear was the only way to survive, the only way to protect what remained of their soul. They didn't vanish in defeat. They went underground as a living testament to the power of truth over tyranny. Understand this: the insider's disappearance is not a sign of weakness. It's a symbol of endurance. When the very systems meant to protect us become weapons against the fearless, the brave are forced into shadows. But shadows do not mean silence. They mean preparation, strategy, the calm before a storm that will sweep through the corridors of power with the force of undeniable justice. The insider's silence is temporary, but the impact of their revelations will echo eternally, haunting those who tried to bury them alive. You might wonder why the truth feels so dangerous, why those in control would stop at nothing to erase the messenger. The answer is simple: because truth threatens control. It dismantles the narratives crafted to manipulate, exposes the puppeteers hiding behind curtains of lies. The insider's knowledge was a dagger aimed at the heart of corruption, a beacon illuminating the darkest corners where greed and betrayal thrive unchecked. And so, fear took hold. Not fear of the truth itself, but fear of losing grip, losing power, losing everything built on foundations of deceit. But the story doesn't end with the insider's silence. No, it begins anew, because the very forces that forced them into hiding are now scrambling, desperate, begging for answers they no longer control. They seek the insider, hoping to regain control over the narrative, hoping to silence the storm before it swells beyond their command. But the game has changed. The insider's sacrifice has ignited a fire in those who listen, in those who choose to see beyond the veil. And the more they beg, the louder the truth roars. You are part of this awakening. Every moment you choose awareness over apathy, courage over comfort, you step into the light the insider fought to reveal. The journey is not easy. It is littered with danger, isolation, and relentless opposition. But it is necessary. Because the alternative, living in ignorance, complacency, submission, is a slow death of the spirit, a betrayal of everything that makes us human. The insider's story is a call to arms, not with weapons, but with knowledge, resilience, and unwavering resolve. It's easy to feel powerless when those who manipulate the strings pull harder, when the system seems impenetrable. But remember this: power lies not just in those who hold the reins, but in those who refuse to be herded. Every whispered truth, every shared secret, every act of defiance chips away at the fortress of lies. The insider was just one voice, but their impact is multiplied by every soul awakened to the reality they unveiled. Together, the unseen become unstoppable. Imagine the weight on the insider's shoulders, carrying the burden of secrets that could destroy lives, the knowledge that exposure meant exile, perhaps worse. Yet, they chose to act, to stand for what is right, despite the cost. This is the essence of courage, not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. Fear is a tool used by those in power to maintain control. The insider refused to wield that tool against themselves. Instead, they transformed fear into fuel, a driving force to expose the rot before it consumed everything. And now, with the insider off the grid, the balance of power is shifting. Those who once mocked and dismissed warnings now scrambled to fill the void. Their desperation is palpable, a palpable recognition that the truth is out there, invisible yet unstoppable. They are the ones begging for answers, scrambling for control, but the control is slipping through their fingers like sand. The insider's disappearance has fractured the illusion of invincibility, and the cracks are widening by the second. This moment is critical. It is a crossroads where silence becomes complicity and action becomes rebellion. The insider's story demands more than passive acknowledgement. It demands engagement. It demands that you look beyond the surface, that you question everything, that you refuse to be silenced. The price of truth may be high, but the cost of ignorance is far greater. Every day spent in denial is another day spent shackled by lies. The insider's legacy is not just a warning, it's a beacon of hope, a guide through the darkness. So, what happens now? The insider's vanishing act was not a retreat, but a strategic move in a larger war. A war fought in shadows and whispers, in encrypted messages and hidden networks. Their absence is felt, but their influence is stronger than ever, because truth, once unleashed, cannot be contained. It spreads like wildfire, consuming deceit and leaving only clarity in its wake. And those who seek to silence it will find themselves swallowed by the very darkness they tried to wield. Your role in this is more important than you realize. You are the eyes and ears of a movement that refuses to be silenced. You are the link between the hidden and the exposed, between fear and courage, between despair and hope. Every word you share, every conversation you spark, every question you ask is a strike against the tyranny of ignorance. The insider's sacrifice demands nothing less than your unwavering commitment to truth. Remember, those who begged for answers before are now scrambling for control. They fear the unknown, the uncontrollable, because it threatens their very existence. The insider's departure tore away their facade of certainty, leaving them vulnerable and exposed. But this vulnerability is an opportunity, an opening for a new era where truth is the foundation, not a weapon to be wielded in shadows. The insider's journey is far from over. It's evolving, and you are part of that evolution. There is power in silence, yes, But there is greater power in breaking that silence, in speaking truths that others dare not utter. The insider understood this. Their disappearance was a message, not of defeat, but of defiance. It is a challenge to you to rise above fear, to embrace uncertainty, to stand firm in the face of overwhelming odds. The path ahead is treacherous, but it is also a path toward freedom, toward a world where truth is not hidden but celebrated. If you feel the weight of this moment, if the fire inside you burns brighter with each revelation, then hold fast. The insider's story is your story now. Their silence is your call to action. This is a fight for the soul of truth, for the future that lies beyond lies and manipulation. And though the road is dark, the destination is clear, a world where justice is not a whisper in the dark, but a roar that cannot be ignored. So rise, stand tall, be the voice that carries the insider's legacy forward. The insiders who risk everything to expose the truth have shown the way. Now it's up to you to walk the path, to confront the darkness, and to bring light where there was once only shadow. The insider warned them about you. Now it's time to show them what that really means. The silence is broken, the answers are coming, and the ones who begged for truth will finally understand who holds the real power. The night is thick with uncertainty, and the air is heavy with the scent of fear. But you who have listened closely, who have dared to see what others refuse, are no longer alone. The insider's footsteps fade, but the trail they blazed burns brighter than ever before. Their disappearance is not an end. It is the ignition of a movement that cannot be contained by walls of silence or veils of deception. The very fabric of control is unraveling, thread by thread, exposed to the light of those unwilling to turn away. They underestimated the power of one willing to risk everything for truth. And in their arrogance, they left a door open, a door you now stand before. You hold the key. The system they built on lies trembles because the insider was never truly gone. They live in every whispered truth shared in hushed conversations, in every question asked that challenges the status quo, in every spark of rebellion that refuses to die. The insider's silence is the loudest roar, a challenge that echoes through the corridors of power. Now, the ones who once wielded control with impunity find themselves scrambling, grasping for straws in a storm they cannot command. Their desperation is palpable. They are shadows chasing shadows, caught in the web they spun for others. But you, the awakened, the defiant, stand at the threshold of change. This is your moment to rise, to break the cycle of fear and silence, to become the force that the insider's warning promised you would be. The journey ahead is daunting, fraught with peril and uncertainty. But remember this: every great revolution begins in the darkness. Every shift in power starts with a single act of courage. You carry the weight of the insider's sacrifice, but also the strength of their vision. The truth they revealed is no longer hidden in whispers. It is a beacon calling you to act, to resist, to dismantle the structures built on fear and control. The insider's exile was a choice born of necessity, but it was also a strategic retreat, a regrouping for what comes next. The truth they exposed cannot be undone, and now it flows through you, through all who choose to stand and fight. This is not just about uncovering secrets or exposing lies. It is about reclaiming the power stolen by those who would see us blind and silent. The insider warned them about you, and now it's time to prove it. Look around you. the ones begging for answers, scrambling for control. They fear the unknown because it strips them of their armor. But the unknown is where true power lies. It is the realm of possibility, of transformation. You are the unknown to them, the variable they cannot predict or contain. And with that fear comes their weakness, their unraveling. They cling to old tactics, old lies, but you carry the new truth, the undeniable force that will topple their kingdoms of deceit. This is more than a fight for truth. It is a fight for freedom. Freedom from manipulation, from control, from the chains of silence that have bound so many before you. The insider's warning was a beacon, a call to arms that you have answered by simply existing, by refusing to be complicit in a system designed to suppress. Their disappearance was not the closing of a chapter, but the opening of a new era. An era defined by courage, by resilience, by an unyielding demand for justice. And justice is not just a word. It is the foundation upon which the future is built. The insider's courage laid the groundwork for that foundation, and now it is up to you to build upon it. Every voice raised, every secret revealed, every barrier broken is a brick in the fortress of truth. The ones who risked everything to expose the darkness have paved the way. Now, it is your turn to walk forward, to confront the shadows, and to illuminate the path for those who will follow. Never forget, the greatest power lies not in the hands of those who seek to control, but in the hearts of those who refuse to be controlled. The insider was a spark, but you are the wildfire. You carry the legacy of resistance, the spirit of rebellion, the unshakable belief that truth will prevail. Their warning was not just for them, it was for you. A reminder that the fight is never over, and that sometimes the greatest battles are fought in silence, away from the world's eyes. The insider warned them about you. Now it is time for you to answer that warning, to show the world that the silent can roar, that the unseen can be unstoppable, that the truth cannot be buried. Their sacrifice was not in vain. It was the beginning of a revolution. The insiders who risked everything to expose corruption, to challenge the powerful, to demand accountability, they did it so you could stand where they once stood, stronger, louder, unyielding. The world is watching, even if they don't yet realize it. The forces that tried to silence the insider are shaking because the movement has grown beyond a single voice. It is a chorus, a tidal wave of awakening that cannot be stopped. They may beg for answers, but the answers belong to you now. The power is yours to wield with wisdom, with courage, with the unbreakable spirit that refuses to bow. So take this moment, breathe it in. The insider's story is not just a tale of disappearance and sacrifice. It is a call to action, a beacon for all who dare to seek the truth. You are the continuation of that story, the hope that light can break through the darkest night. The insider warned them about you. Now, it's time to make them understand that the future belongs to those who refuse to be silenced. Rise with purpose, stand with conviction, speak with clarity. The insider's journey may have taken them off the grid, but their message lives on in you. And together, the truth will no longer be hidden, the silence will be shattered, and the ones who begged for answers will finally be the ones left searching in the dark. The weight of the insider's sacrifice is a mantle that presses heavy, but it is also a source of immense strength. They stepped into the unknown, into the abyss of isolation and danger, because they believed in something greater than themselves, the unyielding power of truth. This belief is a flame you must carry forward, even when the darkness threatens to consume hope. The world as it stands is fragile, built on lies that crack under the pressure of exposure, and every moment of silence allows those cracks to widen. The insider's warning was a tremor beneath the surface. Now it is your hands that must strike the quake that brings the whole facade down. The forces that drove the insider off the grid are scrambling, but they are losing. Their desperation is a sign of weakness, not strength. They grasp at shadows, flailing as the tide of awareness rises. But awareness without action is still a cage. You must be the storm that breaks those bars, the voice that refuses to be muffled, the light that doesn't flicker. The insider's disappearance was a tactical move, a step back to leap forward. And now you stand on the edge of that leap, armed with knowledge, resilience, and a fire that no silence can extinguish. It's natural to feel the weight of fear in this fight. Fear of being hunted, silenced, or erased. But fear is the weapon they use against you, the chain that keeps you bound. The insider knew this. They chose to face the storm rather than be swept away by it. Their courage is a beacon, showing that the greatest victory comes not from avoiding fear, but from mastering it. Let that courage ignite your spirit. Let it push you beyond doubt, beyond hesitation, into action. Those who once dismissed the insider as a lone voice now find themselves begging for answers, scrambling to fill the void left by the truth they feared. But their pleas are hollow, their control slipping through trembling fingers. The insider warned them about you, the unseen, the unheard, the unstoppable. And now it is your time to rise, to shatter the illusion of their power and expose the fragile core beneath their dominance. The answers they seek will not come from their manipulations or cover-ups. They will come from the unyielding will of those who refuse to be silenced. You are part of a movement far greater than yourself, a force that grows stronger with every secret revealed, every injustice challenged, every truth spoken. The insider's silence is your call to speak louder. Their exile is your invitation to take a stand. The battle is no longer theirs alone. It belongs to all who believe in the power of truth and the necessity of justice. Together, your voices become a chorus that no force can drown out. There will be moments when the darkness feels overwhelming, when the weight of the fight seems too great. But remember, the insider faced that darkness alone and still chose to fight. You do not walk this path alone. You carry the legacy of their bravery and the strength of countless others who have stood against the tide of oppression. Each step forward chips away at the walls built to contain truth. Each act of courage fans the flames of change. The insider warned them about you, and now the world will see why. The silence you break is a revolution. The truths you unveil are weapons sharper than any blade. The courage you embody is the force that topples empires built on lies. This is the moment where the unseen become seen, where the unheard become undeniable. You are no longer just the audience of this story. You are the authors of its next chapters. So rise, not with hesitation, but with conviction, not in fear, but in fierce determination. The insider's story is a torch passed to you, to carry, to protect, to use. The ones begging for answers will find those answers in the unwavering light of your courage, your voice, your action. They warned you would come. Now, show them what it means to be the truth they cannot control, the power they cannot stop, the force they will forever fear.